Hi, welcome to Turner's Take on Sports. With me, Turner Underley, along with my dad, Dave Underley. Today I will be talking about The Last Dance and the NBA's top 74, according to ESPN.
So yeah, it's been pretty fun. We've been enjoying watching The Last Dance like everybody out there. I think we talked about it last week. So now a few more episodes this week, and tonight's going to actually be the finale, which it's almost sad to see it all come to an end. We've been enjoying it so much. When you watch these first eight episodes, what's been the most surprising thing to you that you've learned about that maybe you didn't know about Michael?
Well, I think I think I mentioned it last episode, but the whole thing that they told Phil that he's not coming back no matter what, and then they even knew that Michael wasn't coming back because of that. I think that's pretty surprising, but I already mentioned that. And in the newer episodes, I always knew that Jordan was super competitive, but I never knew how much he pushed his teammates, and I think he kind of gets a bad rap for being a bad teammate, but he tries to be a good teammate. He wants them to be as good as him.
Well, yeah, his way of being a good teammate was to challenge everybody, but sometimes people didn't always want to be challenged, right?
Yeah.
What would you have a different opinion after watching it of Scottie Pippen at all?
I think Scottie Pippen's, he's not way overrated, but he's slightly. People were saying that he was a top 5 NBA player at his time. He might be top 10, but he's not. Without Michael, it was proven he really couldn't win.
Yes, they definitely did struggle without it, and there was the moments that always haunt Scottie where he sat out at the end of the game because he wasn't getting the ball and stuff like that. When you look at Michael, do you think the gambling was a factor at all in his retirement the first time, or what do you think motivated him to retire?
Well, going into the documentary, I had thought that it was a secret suspension. I still think it was a secret suspension, but the documentary definitely tried to prove it was not. But because Jordan, David Stern both said it wasn't, and I thought it was interesting. And I'm not sure how true it is that his friend, the author of the book, anyway, he was the one who said that Michael told him the year before that he would have retired right then. I don't think that's really that true. I don't know. I feel like it's hard to know you're going to retire a year before.
I think it's interesting when you see like every little thing motivated him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know you and I really enjoyed the scene where he went to dinner. He was at dinner and George Karl walked past him without saying hi. And that motivated him to go out the next day because they had lost the night before. It motivated, like, his ability to find motivation in every little thing.
Or the time he lied that somebody told him good game.
Yeah.
And he got mad at him.
He made that up just to motivate himself.
And it wasn't even something bad. He said good game to him.
Right. It's pretty incredible. The ultimate competitor. And what we always say is whatever you do your best at it. And I don't think there's anybody a better example of that than Michael Jordan, would you say? Mm-hmm. So the other thing that's been talked about a lot is this whole NBA Top 74. Why 74? Because it's the 74th anniversary of the NBA. So when you just look at the top 5, your top 5, and I know you haven't been around, but you watch a lot of these old clips and see guys play from the past. Who are your top 5 NBA players of all time?
Well, I think number 1 is kind of a given for most people. It should be Michael Jordan. Nobody's close to him. And then I think number 2, a lot of people have LeBron there, but I have Kobe at number 2 because he's just more of a pure scorer, and I think he's more clutch than clutch. I think is the most important thing to be one of the top players, and I think he's second clutchest player of all time. And then LeBron is number 3. And then there's a lot of different people who could go in the 4 and 5 spot. But I have Magic at 4 just because I think he's fun to watch, and he's so good. He can play all 5 positions.
Truly. And
then Larry Bird is number 5. Yeah. I think that he's a shooter. He can play defense. He's a good all-around player.
That's a pretty darn good list. In fact, if you think about it, the Dream Team in '92, we had 3 of those players on the same team with Magic, Larry, and Michael. What an amazing team. Any things that when you looked at the whole list, are there any things that jumped out to you that you thought of that really surprised you and that you took exception to?
3 things I think that I had that I thought were very wrong, especially one of them. The number 1 thing I thought was really messed up is Kobe should not be number 9. I have the list right here. They had Tim Duncan ahead of him. I do not think Tim Duncan is better than him. They had I think he's better than Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell. He's better than Larry Bird. I think he should at least be top 4, not 9.
What did you think about where Barkley was on the list relative to Scottie Pippen?
Okay, so that's my second thing, is that Scottie Pippen is way too high. Because he is not a clutch player like all some of these other people. Charles Barkley, he's behind him, and he won an MVP. Scottie, he won Defensive Player of the Year, I think, but that's Joakim Noah won that. And I don't think that John Stockton is worse than Scottie Pippen. Same with Steve Nash and Allen Iverson. I think Scottie should be around 35 to 40, not 21.
Yeah, I think Scottie always is going to get the Jordan shadow rap, and then the moment that he wasn't in Jordan's shadow, he sometimes just failed to step up to the level of some of those other players on the list. Last question. We had the NFL draft a couple weeks ago, and I just got to ask you, the shocker of the draft was, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, about Jordan Love being drafted by the Packers. Yeah. And we talked about the shock that it was to us, and I think and now Aaron Rodgers has spoken out, and he kind of has let it be known that he doesn't think he would retire as a Packer. Mm-hmm. So, Bears fans, Packers, we all know how you feel about that. We don't have to go into the details. If the option is presented to ourselves and the Chicago Bears need a quarterback and Aaron Rodgers is available, do you or do you not want Aaron Rodgers on the Chicago Bears?
I personally think that is a slightly pointless question. Aaron Rodgers is a top 5, top 3, whoever you're talking to, quarterback of all time. Mitch Trubisky might not even be top 200. He might win you a playoff game or two. He's not going to win you a Super Bowl, and isn't that pretty much all that matters? Aaron Rodgers, whether it's a couple years from now, he might not be as good. He's still going to be better than Mitch. I'm pretty sure about that. And I think that no matter what the fans think of him, there's been Rodman. Fans didn't like him. He turned out fine. I mean, it was just, if you could winning is more important than being liked by the fans, in my opinion.
I agree. And then for these two Bear fans, we would both take Aaron Rodgers. So if you're out there, Aaron, and you're listening to this, you're welcome on the Chicago Bears should we need it. You were going to say something else?
Well, I had one more thing about the list, and I think it might be it's a little unpopular opinion, but I think Russell Westbrook is at 42, I think. Yeah, he's at 42. He is clearly, he's not even close to that, because he won, I think, maybe 2 MVPs, but he didn't deserve either one, really, because he does not have the clutchness. He can't really shoot that well, and he's a stat padder. If he's like, I need a couple more assists to get a triple-double, he won't shoot. If he needs points, he'll ball hog. He'll do whatever he needs to look the best if you're just looking at stats. But if you watch him play, he's really not that impressive.
So, Russell Westbrook, if you're listening to this, I would not watch this episode because apparently, would you even have him in the top 74 list?
Yeah, I would, just
way down there?
Yeah.
Just way down there. Well, thank you for yet again tuning in. We really enjoy doing these episodes. Hope you guys get some enjoyment out there. Hope everybody's staying safe. And until the next episode, thanks for watching. Good night.